Hello class, my name is Chris Cummins, and for today's mathematics history lesson we are going to be learning about the ancient Chinese numeral system. The Chinese numeral system was geographically located in Central Asia, which it first appeared in Anyang province of Henny, China during the time period of the Shang dynasty ruled from 1600 to 1046 BC. Also, the Chinese numeral system could have been used as early as 475 BC. The ancient Chinese used two different forms of symbols in their numeral system. The first form was the Shang oracle numerals. They were found on oracle bone strips from the 14th century BC. There was a single symbol for each number ranging from 1 through 10, and for numbers over 10 a line or curve is added. For example, if you look at numbers 11 through 13, you can see that a line was added as each number increased. If you wanted to make a multiple digit number, you would have to combine symbols and use the multiplicative principle. For instance, look at the symbol for the number 50. It is combined with the symbols for 5 and 10, which also equal 50 when you multiply the two numbers together, illustrating how multiplicative properties can be used with each symbol. This system also didn't have a symbol for 0. Whenever 0 was used, a blank spot was left. The second form of symbols the ancient Chinese used was called the Chinese rod numeral system. This system was first used by the Han Dynasty and is known as a natural place value system. It has digits for numbers 1 through 9 and it leaves a blank square when indicating 0. The rods were used on the counting board with rows and columns. Numbers were formed in a row by units placed starting in the furthest right column. Each counting rod represented a digit based on the number of rods shown, and when a perpendicular rod is used, it represents 5. For example, if you look at the number 4, you will see 4 rods are shown. And if you look at 8, you will see that it has one perpendicular rod plus 3 straight rods. To avoid confusion when understanding a number, the rods are placed horizontally or vertically based on a number's position in the place value system. The horizontal rods are used for numbers positioned in the tens, thousand, hundred thousands place, and so forth, while the vertical rods are used for numbers positioned in the ones, hundreds, 10,000s, and so forth. For instance, if you look at the example of 7,492, you will see that each rod is positioned vertically or horizontally based on its position of place value. Also, this system has no symbol for negative or positive numbers, so the colors red and black are to indicate if a number is positive or negative. Red represents the positive numbers while black represents the negative numbers. The ancient Chinese had an interesting way to perform multiplication and addition. To add, they would simply just take two numbers, stack one symbol above the other, and added them together. For example, if I wanted to say 7 plus 3 equals 10, I would write out the symbol for 7 and 3, then write the symbol for 10, which will show 7 plus 3 equals 10. To multiply, they use a Chinese multiplication box grid. Connected below is a link to YouTube that will show you step by step how the Chinese use the box grid to do multiplication.
Now let's look at another method for finding 46 times 23, called the Chinese method. Again, we need to draw a box and split it into columns and rows, but this time we're going to leave off the zeros, giving us a grid 4 and 6 by 2 and 3. This is much more like using place value. Now we draw diagonal lines through the corners of each box like this. Notice the lines extend beyond the grid. Just like the grid method, we do a multiplication in each space. The first is 4 times 2, the second is 6 times 2, the third is 4 times 3, and the last is 6 times 3. We can now work out these simple multiplications to give 8, 12, 12, and 18. We can write 8 as 08, showing it has a 0 place value in the tens column. We want to split up the tens and the unit. We put the tens in the top left box and the units in the bottom right box, like this. We do this for all of the numbers. We've now completed the grid. The grid is divided into diagonal bands. One band at a time, we are going to add up along each band, putting the answer outside the grid. The first band gives 8. In the second band, 2 plus 1 plus 2 makes 5. In the third band, the total is 10. We carry the 1 in the tens column into the next band. This final band only has the 1 we carried over, giving 1. To read the answer, we look at the numbers outside the grid, reading down and across. 1, 0, 5, 8. 1058.